was definitely a strange year for everyone involved. It was paradoxically quite a good year for us as a young studio, and it was a year which we completed two of our most significant projects to date, which both represent important and divergent themes in our work. The first is Ditton House, and this is a new build house in the English suburban town of Surbiton. We've always enjoyed playing with references and narratives within our projects, and for this project we're delighted in finding overlapping, seemingly diametrically opposed references, so combining the mock Tudor houses that are prevalent in the area, the Art Deco station nearby, and then also referring to utilitarian industrial architecture and Palm Springs modernism, styles that were both key references in the brief of the fashion designer client. So, for example, the exterior mirrors the exposed structure common in the half-timbered mock Tudor buildings, but instead of it being non-structural and timber, it's steel and it is structural. And it's using steel, the language of modernism. And so this allowed us to slim down structural members into this elegant steel grid exoskeleton, and you can see a detail of this on the right hand side of the screen. Another key interest in our work is how we curate and contrast different spatial experiences on a person's journey through a building. For instance, as you enter the house, the entrance hall is dramatic triple height space filled with light, which you can see on the left of the screen. And then you are led through into a much more compressive hallway space with deliberately restrained natural light and a lower, heavier ceiling, which you can see on the right-hand side. And then from this kind of darkened hallway space, you emerge into a voluminous main living and dining space, which has panoramic views onto the garden.
So the idea of layering narratives has always been a theme of our work. And our very first building, this shed that you can see here on the right, was built for a writer and illustrator of children's books. And we wanted an architecture that conjured some of the themes of his work. And the result is this almost fairy tale-like hut at the end of his London garden. And we built the project ourselves, and we went on to build the first 5 of our projects ourselves. And today, physically building remains a cornerstone of our approach. Being both architect and builder has given us a lot of materials and building techniques, but we hope also allowed us to experiment and be a bit daring. So here you can see a selection of some of our hands-on experiments, everything from making our own door handles to a terrazzo fireplace made from waste terracotta tiles. And another example of experimentation is our cork study project that you can see here. The building is clad in super sustainable 80mm thick solid cork blocks, which act as both the rain screen and thermal insulation. So we're always trying to hone how we practice, having projects of scale, but also projects which allow us to experiment and also have real agency. So here you can see some of our projects on the drawing board at the moment. We've just started on site with a new build house that again we'll build ourselves and use as a test bed for experimentation with the sustainable materials. We're also working on an eccentric pool and pool house which is nearing completion, and a mass-produced garden studio building designed for working from home in the post-COVID world. And so we'd like to finish with the other main project that we completed in 2020, our Hackney School of Food. The project is situated in one of the most deprived areas of East London and is dedicated to teaching children and the local community how to grow, cook and eat healthy and delicious food, crucial skills to help combat worrying trends in childhood obesity. Although on the surface, the project is very different from Ditton Hill House, both are underpinned by everything we've learned with our time on site, making and experimenting. At the School of Food, to make the most of the tight budget, we opted to retrofit the existing caretaker's house and target spending on areas where we could most increase the educational impact for the kids. So internally, we stripped everything out to create a bright and generous educational kitchen, And externally, we work with artist Jean-Julien to enliven the public-facing street elevation. We're so proud to have been involved in this truly sustainable project, which is already having such a great impact. And we're now working on an ambitious second phase of the project, as well as an open source design manual that will allow others to copy and we hope replicate up and down the country. Thanks very much for listening.